What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy P. Skip. Welcome to the best half hour of your entire Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time to get into his course. My squad with me, T-Mac.
Hola.
Chili Will.
Gracias, amigo.
Let's do this. So listen, Matthew chapter 10, verse 9 through 14 in the Amplified says this. Do not take gold or silver or even copper money in your money belt, or a provision bag for your journey, or even 2 tunics or sandals or a staff, for the worker deserves his support. Whatever city or village you enter, ask who in it is worthy, who welcomes you and your message, and stay at that house until you leave that city. As you go into the house, give it your greeting. That is, peace be in this house. Verse 13 says, if the family living in the house is worthy welcoming you and your message, give it your blessing of peace. That is, a blessing of well-being and prosperity, the favor of God. But if it is not worthy, take back your blessing of peace. And verse 14 says, whoever does not welcome you or listen to your message, as you leave that house or that city, shake the dust off of it, that is your feet, in contempt and breaking all ties. I said that to say, the New England Patriots have recently released Cam Newton. Now, the reasons they're saying are just different, but yet they're not different for New England. Now, some reports say how Mac Jones beat Cam Newton out. Is a former Patriot and mainstay claims that Mac Jones showed a much greater mastery of the offense. Linebacker Rob Nikoff recently claimed that the rookie knew the offense so well that he was helping Cam Newton to learn the playbook. Jones was having fewer mental errors per Nikovic, along with a better understanding of the offense. Nikovic also pointed out that Newton did not run the no-huddle offense or the 2-minute drill during the preseason. Fewer than 2 weeks ago, however, Newton was the starter, according to Bill Belichick. Jones took charge after Newton missed 5 days due to a COVID misunderstanding. Maybe Jones would have supplanted Newton sooner or later. Newton's absence surely helped it happen sooner. Rob Nikovic also said Mac Jones was helping Cam Newton learn the playbook. And for those who don't know, Cam Newton did not get the COVID shot. He refused to get vaccinated. Now, some say the Patriots released Cam Newton because after Mac Jones did enough to earn the starting job, Newton became an unnecessary liability to the team as a backup due to his vaccination status. I don't have any team source telling me that. To be clear, it's that I consider to be an educated opinion and nothing more than that. But let me say this. One of the things I know about Bill Belichick is, from what we know about him, he'll put up with a lot more from you when you produce. You have a little longer leash when you do what he needs you to do, and you produce and you win. Cam, on the other hand, I think came in humble, but then I believe he started to become Cam again. You know, that swag that Cam carries, that bravado that Cam carries, and I think it wasn't the Patriot way of doing things, and I think it began to rub Bill Belichick wrong, maybe some of the other players wrong, and from what I know about Bill Belichick and his history is, if a starter goes down and a backup shows up, the starter just lost his job. I.e., how Tom Brady got the starting job. So, what do you think about all this?
I think it sucks. I think Cam got a raw deal. I thought that it was a disaster waiting to happen. I was very surprised when he signed with them anyway. I was even more disappointed that other NFL teams didn't sign him when he became available after playing with the Carolina Panthers. And I'm using this as a comparison. Most teams, you got 32 teams in the NFL, I believe, or thereabouts, usually go about, 2 or 3 deep in the quarterback, position. I don't believe that there's 96 players or 95 players in the NFL that are playing quarterback that are better than Cam Newton. Cam Newton has been a winner. He was an NFL MVP in 2015, led the team to the Super Bowl. They ended up losing, but how many other quarterbacks can even say they led a team to the Super Bowl? He's been a winner throughout his life. He played in junior college before going to Auburn. He won a championship as a junior college player. He led Auburn in arguably the toughest division or conference in all of college football, the SEC, to an undefeated season and a national championship. He led a Carolina Panthers team that didn't have a whole lot of good pieces to a Super Bowl. And I don't think you just dump on a dude, like that. And after all the punishment and hits that he's taken, being a quarterback who can both throw the ball and run, I would think that there would be a little bit more appreciation being shown to him. Now, as far as play calling and all those things are concerned, I can even, move past that. Mac Jones is a rookie. You got Justin Fields, who to me was one of the 2 best college football players playing for the Chicago Bears. He's not starting for Chicago for some reason. To me, it just seems like it is along the same lines that it has been for years when it comes to black quarterbacks. We don't get the same opportunities, don't get the same rope that you talked about, win or lose, that white quarterbacks, get, and that's unfortunate. The NFL football period used to have a number of positions that were, I would say, a little bit more mixed. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, but you look at every position nowadays, except for quarterback, you have capable, talented, skilled players who happen to be African American that can play those positions, and they get a shorter leash or opportunity than others. I thought that the Cam Newton New England fit was kind of a wrong fit anyway. If Bill Belichick did grow weary of Cam being Cam, his flashiness, you knew who the dude was when he came over to your team. You are a professional guy. You won championships with the Buffalo Bills and New England. You know how to deal with different personalities. So I'm not buying that either. You a grown man, and you are a grown man of grown men. When you brought him over there in your preliminary conversations about expectations, etc., all of that should have been hashed out. And if it was not a good marriage, just like a relationship, this ain't gonna work out from the jump. I think Cam played well in the preseason. I thought he did enough to win the starting, spot. Now, this whole safety corona stuff, that, is one story. I understand the safety piece. And if you have a particular standard, if you have a mandate that, hey, to play here, to work here, to go to school here, to fly here, you have to get the shot. That's one thing. But I'm also hard pressed to believe that Cam is the only joker on that squad that is refusing the vaccine too. So to me, it seems like some of this stuff has been kind of a cop out. It's unfortunate. And because Cam wasn't picked up by any other teams besides New England, I'm thinking there's something else that's going on that might be a bit unspoken. And Bill Belichick has been sending life rafts to lesser known players, journeymen, during his entire run at New England. You only gonna give Cam just a season? I'm thinking something that may be in the mix too is that, you know, Cam might have said, look, man, if I can't be the starter, I'll compete for it. I know you drafted this guy to Alabama. A lot of folks are trying to be high on him and all that kind of stuff. And that's cool. But I'm a former MVP of the whole league. Ain't no rookie better than me. Shut up. But this is your team, not mine. If I can't be the starter, I would rather you let me go. I'm not playing backup to no rookie, and I still got some stuff left in the tank. And so I'm thinking they might have had a gentleman's agreement that, hey, Cam, I think I'm going to go ahead and roll with the young guy. Appreciate your work, whatever. So that might have been, I will believe that more so than any of that other stuff that you were just, rapping about as far as, helping him with the plays and learning the play call. He was the starter last year and went, they went 7-8, but he was the starter. So it ain't like he don't know the offense. He ran the offense last year. So I ain't buying that either. So I'm thinking that Cam and Coach Belichick had a conversation somewhere in this little preseason and said, look, I'll give him my best shot. And if I earn it, I'll take it. But if you gonna go ahead and go for the okie doke, I'll be cool with just letting me go. It's gonna be a starter or a bust for me because this ain't really no good fit and I don't want to force it anyway. The last thing I'll say is that Cam, with his release, was saying things like, hey, don't feel sorry for me. I'm cool. I'm a grown man, et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate him, dealing with the consequences. As a grown man, whatever the consequences are, right, you got to deal with them, and you got to deal with them like a man, and he's doing that. I just think it's unfortunate that other quarterbacks, to me, of lesser stature, of lesser talent, of lesser accomplishment, definitely get burned in an opportunity more so than the brothers get. And I think Cam is a shining example of that. And it's disappointing, man, to see. And I just think it's a foul, sucky situation all around, personally.
Yeah, I think the thing that is most disturbing to me is what's being put out. Because one of the things I know about New England, they're very tight-lipped about everything they do. Mm-hmm. So anything you let out, you meant to let out. And what you let out was, Cam ain't smart enough to run our plays. That's what was let out there. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is very, very suspect.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you say, I just felt like the rookie would give us better chance for the future.
Yeah.
But to put out there, he had to teach him how to run the plays. Come on now.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me these are a whole different playbook than it was last year? And here's the other thing. Once again, you put Cam behind a sucky line last year.
Yeah.
Their line was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. And so now, I always say this to people. You never want to be the guy after the guy. Mm-hmm. That's just not the position to be in. It's the guy after the guy. Whoever coached the Bulls after Phil Jackson left, who do you remember? No. Do you remember who played on the Bulls team after Mike and Scotty left? Mm-mm. Nor do you care.
Right.
And so that's how I feel the role that they threw Cam into. Look, we're getting you after Tom Brady, but whatever. You ain't gonna produce, and we're not expecting you to produce. We just need to have a break between what we had at this rebuilding that we're doing for the next move. And I believe he was just a scapegoat in all this anyway. I never thought he was supposed to be the answer. Yeah, the heir apparent. None of that. I never thought he was going to be any of that because New England has a way. They want to build their guys up from their system. They want guys who know Bill Belichick. They want guys who are New England guys. They're not looking. New England has never traded to get a guy in a key position right away, like quarterback. Mm-hmm. They never did. They all came through draft, New England's quarterbacks, at least under Belichick. And so to have him traded in, like I said, I think he knew coming in. Yeah. I make it a year or two. This was just to show that I can still throw, so I can audition for a real team for a long-term contract. But I think, like you said, the leash was short. I think the agreement was short, and I don't think they wanted to win so they could get a high draft choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said, I mean, I agree with. I mean, I go back to, I mean, when Cam signed with him, I don't know if they traded for him. I thought they signed him as a free agent.
They did. He was released.
Yeah, and so they had the opportunity. I mean, and before they even signed him, how did all the other 31 teams out of the 32 not sign him? I mean, that's the thing I'm thinking about. Even if they
Remember,
think,
he's coming off an injury.
he had
coming off that injury, and he hadn't played for like a couple years.
that he's 32 years old. Injuries are a part of the game. The injuries that he had, it wasn't, you had Alex Smith that had 17 surgeries on his leg, man.
Right.
And he got signed.
Right.
So Cam's injury wasn't that severe. I mean, the point is why wouldn't one of the other teams even give him a shot? He was the MVP of the league, man, in 2015. All I'm saying is that when you have any modicum of accomplishment, started a couple games, have some wins, touchdown passes, passing yards, that kind of stuff usually can get you at least a roster spot, because, hey, if I'm your agent, hey, he's been productive, and this year he did this year he did that. When you add extra on top of that, as far as accomplishments, MVPs, Pro Bowl selections, trips to the Super Bowl, that gives you some extra stock, unless you got into a car accident and you became a paraplegic or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so somewhere along the line, there could have been some collusion, a la Colin Kaepernick. You mean to tell me he took that knee and there was no teams that could have used him? Not trying to put Cam's situation up there with Kaepernick. I'm just saying there have been instances that looked a lot like collusion against a particular player. So somewhere along the line, there was some rubbing the wrong way.
Let me say this, Pastor Tim.
Go ahead.
But for the uneducated, tell them what collusion is.
Collusion is when you have a group of decision makers or people that can influence the outcome of something get together and they agree to do something or not do something as a group in secret. That is collusion. And in this particular case, the point I'm making is when Colin Kaepernick took his stand against racial violence and excessive force from the police department and taking the knee in the NFL, the owners of the NFL teams colluded or got together behind closed doors and say, hey, look, nobody signs this guy. He's trouble for us. We don't want him doing that. So everybody agrees. I know he's a good player and he probably could play on team. Another guy who had went to the Super Bowl, who had won, some Pro Bowl berths or whatever, they decided not to sign him. I'm thinking Cam Newton, for some reason, has a similar story, because not only did he not get signed, which is why he was available for New England to sign him finally, but since he's been released by New England, nobody has picked him up just yet either, and the season starts on Sunday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, and the part that's disappointing is I've watched football all my life. From a little kid, I used to get action figures. I used to play football. I played football. Does
your football go back all the way to the electric football sets?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The
little
man with the little styrofoam little ball. Yeah, man. All of that.
Your mic is out.
This is a high school football. I go to the games. I still go to high school footballs. You know what I'm saying? Football games when I can. Even as an adult, and I don't play. And my son has been out of high school 3 or 4 years. My point is that I've seen a number of quarterbacks.
Right.
Throughout. Cam Newton is better than most of them, and I'm just saying, why haven't y'all signed dude when y'all have signed lesser players, lesser talent, lesser accomplishments, and you're not signing him. I can't think of anything else other than y'all got behind closed doors and said we're gonna collude together and agree not to get his joker no shot. There's no other reason for it. I mean, he's not on a roster. You
Right.
got 3 quarterbacks deep on every team. That's 3 times 32 is 96. You mean to tell me that it's 95 players that's better than, or 96 is he ain't on a team? I'm not buying that. I'm just not.
Also, do you think that New England released him so late because they didn't want to play against him?
No, I don't think it's that. I think, and I'll give Bill Belichick the benefit of the doubt in this instance, specifically to that question that you just asked. Bill Belichick, all the Super Bowl years they won, going back when they beat the greatest show on turf in the 2001 Super Bowl, which started this whole run of New England being the most dominant team in the 2000s, when they shocked them. He would give jokers a chance and he would give brothers a chance. A lot of the players that he would bring in, from running backs to defensive players, a lot of those cats was brothers. He even gave what's my man name? The Josh Gordon a chance after he had his drug challenges and suspensions and stuff like that. I mean, so Bill Belichick will give you a chance. And so what I'm thinking is him and Cam had a conversation. And, Bill will tell it like it is kind of a guy. He'll, get in when Tom Brady was playing for him, he would chew Tom Brady out just like he'd chew out, the last man on the 53-man roster. So he ain't got no respect to a person. I'm just thinking that there was some conversation that he had with Cam that said, look, if I can't be the starter, it's your choice, not mine. I'm going to play well enough to earn the starting spot, but the decision is still yours. If you decide not to start me, I would rather be released and take my chances out here on the free agent market than play backup. I started for this team last year. Y'all went out and drafted a quarterback. I understand the writing's on the wall. Y'all drafted a quarterback because this is what y'all want. This is the future, like you talked about, your future and all this kind of stuff. But give me an opportunity to still jam, because all of the things you afford other players. He's a veteran, the veteran leadership, the consistency in the locker room. I bring all that. Andy Dalton is starting for the Chicago Bears and not Justin Fields. Justin Fields is clearly the better player. However, he's a veteran, though. Cam is a veteran, too, and is more accomplished than Andy Dalton. And you got other examples of this around the league. I'm just saying the same thing you do for other quarterbacks. Just do what you do regularly for quarterbacks. Give them a shot. If they're a veteran guy, you bring them on the squad. He shouldn't have to be searching around, looking in the want ads in the paper for a job, and he's an NFL MVP, a multiple-time Pro Bowl quarterback, and he took a team to the Super Bowl. Those kinds of quarterbacks in the NFL don't be looking for a job. They get signed right away upon availability. No other these reasons. Well, the this, and we don't ever hear the this and the that with them other jokers. Right. But with dude, now it's a laundry list of, ain't no. It's something else going on.
Here's the thing. New England does not want another investigation with all that they've went through.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, the NFL Players Association will have New England fined if Cam lost his job due to COVID. Mm. And it said it was a misunderstanding of COVID. He didn't have it.
Mm.
And he sat for 5 days.
Mm.
And so the last thing that New England wants to get out there is Cam lost his job due to COVID. And I think that's why they said, well, he didn't know the playbook. That I think is completely bogus. That I think is full frontal garbage. But New England, here's the thing that they're saying how great of a coach Belichick is. But one of the things they never talk about is how much he's cheated.
Mm-hmm.
How much he's cheated and has gotten caught.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. If you got caught that many times, how much more was you cheating that you didn't get caught on?
Exactly.
And so there's a level of shakiness, or shadiness
for real,
that I have for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, that I'm like, okay, you great, but were you great under the same circumstances as everybody else? You didn't have the same condition. You didn't have Deflate Gate. You didn't have Spy Gate. You didn't have every kind of gate there is.
Yeah.
But straight gate, because you wasn't straight none of the times. You know, so I'm just trying to figure out, how are we labeling them so great when we know they cheated? I've never understood how you can be labeled that when you know you cheated, we know you cheated, but because of Croft and his dollars, he keeps the cheating verbiage down to nothing.
Yeah. Bob Crab. What happens is that you and everything you said, man, you're spot on. And because of that history of coloring outside the lines, I will say, and flat out cheating, that means I can't put past you some funniness or some shenanigans in this particular instance. But when you have the near idolatry that sometimes winners and sports heroes get, and if you have the machine that is there that will let you get away with stuff with a slap on the wrist or impunity, as opposed to really nailing you to the slammer about some stuff, then it'll proliferate. If you got away with something before, chances are I can get away with something else again. And if they're only going to slap me on the wrist due to my indiscretions, then I figure that almost is a license for me to continue on in this way that is less than honorable, less than honest, less than ethical. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so they have a little bit of both. I will say they've been able to get away with a lot of stuff, but winners.
I'm gonna close with this. The Bible says in Proverbs 11:1 in the Amplified, a false balance and a dishonest business practice are extremely offensive to the Lord, but an accurate scale is his delight. And you can't keep having these false balances and these unethical business practices and think it's going to keep going on. The Lord will stop that foolishness.
Amen.
So with that being said, hey, listen, thanks again for being a part of another great show. Be here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. Also, fellas, I have an amazing men's conference, Into His Courts, September 17th and 18th at the Miller Highlight Theater. Sign up. It's going to absolutely be amazing. We have Chris Brouchard with us. We have Todd Delaney with us. We have comedian Michael Jr. is going to be with us. Sign up at www.worldoutreachbtc.org. I promise you it will be absolutely life-changing. Until next week, have an amazing week. Peace!